Hello and thank you for watching. These three lenses are very good, optically very good quality, and I think it's important to note we are probably blessed with such good optical performance from modern day lenses. Sigma's new Vision line of lenses, from their art, the contemporary and sport lenses, are fantastic quality. Tamron has done a good job as well with their VC 150-600 lens that we've got here, and the quality of that lens is pretty good as well. The problem with these lenses, you need to choose what's right for you. Now, basically the Tamron and the Contemporary weigh around 2 kilograms, which is quite a hefty lens anyway. However, what you have to think about is, are you going to have your lens in the air, hand holding a lot of the time? And if you are, I would say the Tamron 150-600 and the Contemporary is the lens for you. If you're after optical performance, I wouldn't be so concerned about optical performance, because even the sports optical performance isn't anywhere near a prime 500. So if you're thinking one of these lenses is going to replace your buying a 500 prime, unfortunately it's not going to meet what you want in terms of quality. If you really want the best quality, buy yourself a 500mm f4 lens, second hand, for £2,000. That's my recommendation. Maybe you can pick one cheap off eBay, Amazon, for something like that. However, if you want something that is a zoom, you can't go wrong with one of these lenses. Now, if you're putting it on a crop sensor like I do, as I'm someone who does wildlife photography, you're talking approximately 300mm at the short end to 960mm. Now, your crop factor on your Nikon is 1.5, and your crop factor on your Canon lenses, on your Canon camera, sorry, is 1.6. So you need to basically times that by whatever lens you're going to be using. But it's important to know what these lenses offer. They both, well, all three of them offer some sort of optical stabilizer. Tamron call it VC, Sigma call it OS. Is it Nikon VF? I think it is, something like that. And Canon IS. But they've all got optical stabilization, and I found the optical stabilization on all these lenses fantastic. I would say you're getting around 4 stops. The image quality of the Contemporary is slightly better than the Tamron, and when it comes to image quality between the Sport and the Contemporary, I couldn't tell the difference. Now, it's possible, because these lenses are out of the box, I haven't configured the Sport with the new Sigma dock that you put on the end, and the same you can do that for the Contemporary, because you need to adjust the focus, because out of the box the focus is wrong basically. Basically, instead of the focus being in the middle, it's up at the top. So you must adjust your lens when you buy it. So keep that in mind, and it shouldn't be an issue. A lot of people buy the lens, send it back because they think there's something wrong with it, when it's not the case. Anyway, that's my roundup of these three lenses. I hope everything I've done in today's video has been helpful. Just check out the examples that you'll see popping up in the screen in a minute. And thank you for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little overview of these lenses, and any of these will be perfect for you. But if you want the best of the best, my personal opinion is the Sigma C. It's a nice lens, it's nice and sharp, It's just not got weather sealing at the front of the lens, but it's got some weather sealing on the back. Same with the Tamron. Obviously the Sigma is weather sealed all the way through. Hello and thank you for coming to my video. In this video I'm just going to run through the sharpness results of the lenses that I've tested. The Tamron 150 to 600 6.3, the Sigma Contemporary 150 to 600 6.3, and the sport version of it. I've got a few examples here to run through, and I just wanted to discuss the results. So first of all, we have the Tamron. Now looking at 100%, it seems not too bad, but when you zoom in a little bit more to 200%, to me the image looks a bit on the fuzzy side, which sort of indicates it's not completely that tack sharp compared to other lenses. So comparing it to the other Sigma versions, I do think the Sigma versions are probably a little bit sharper. But let's have a look at our next example. Obviously you can see that I've used lens focus calibration tool alignment ruler folding card here. So the Contemporary results here looks pretty good here, quite sharp. I don't seem to see any major issues here. If we zoom in at 200%, there is a little bit of fuzziness. However, it still retains its shape, more so than the Tamron lens. So this 150 to 600 Contemporary lens is quite a good lens, and I wouldn't think it's too much of an issue. Keep in mind that these images are at f8 at 400 ISO, so there isn't a great deal amount of noise in the image, and to me the Contemporary looks quite good. Let's have a look at the sport version now. Now the problem with the sport version is the lens isn't properly calibrated when you get it out of the box. So please use the Sigma dock, which retails for around £40, to try and get the alignment right, because as you can see here, I was actually focused on the number 2, but for some reason the focus has decided to wander across to number 3 and 4, and to be honest, the focus is probably sharpest in between here. However, if we zoom in a little bit, 200%. Now if I compare our result with our Contemporary at 200%, I would say the difference is very small in terms of the sharpness you gain with the sports lens versus the Contemporary. I'll leave that up to you to decide which you prefer. However, to my eye, I believe that the Contemporary is just as good, and it is also 1 kilogram lighter. So we've got a few more examples here to show you. Here we have a Star Trek model. I believe the shutter speed was around 60th of a second, 400 ISO, f8. So let's zoom in there. This is the Tamron lens. It seems quite good from here, but if you zoom in, it sort of loses its sharpness a little bit at 50%. So we go in we're going at 66%. The sharpness we seem to lose, and I don't think it's quite as sharp as the other 2 lenses. So let's have a look at the Contemporary. I chose different models to try and make it easier to, link each lens to each picture. So at 50% it looks quite sharp, and if we zoom in at 66%, you can still see detail there. And let's go back to the Tamron, and it's not quite as sharp for some reason. That leads to me to believe that the actual Contemporary is a lot sharper than the Tamron. I did like the Tamron's tripod mount, and it did seem quite solid. However, it's all about the optics. The focusing was probably a little bit better on the Tamron, but it's more sharp on the Contemporary. So let's go and have a look at the picture I took with the Sport lens. It seems quite sharp at 33%. Let's zoom in. At 50%, it doesn't look too bad. Zoom in a bit more. 66%. As you can see, there's good detail there. I would say it's on par with the Contemporary, certainly. But I think it's probably not worth £500 more in terms of sharpness compared to the Contemporary. The only difference between the Contemporary and the Sports, realistically speaking, is a heavy tripod mount and foot and weather sealing. That's your main difference. So let's zoom in to 100%. Hopefully this gives you more of an idea on how sharp these lenses are. So there you go. The Contemporary, let's zoom in to 100%. It still looks really good on the Contemporary. It's always possible that aligning the Sports lens might give you better results, but you will need to do that. And let's zoom in a little bit more on the Tamron to 100%, and you can clearly see sharpness has disappeared from this picture. It's good, you know, zooming out, you shouldn't have a problem, but it does seem softer than the Contemporary version of the Sport lens. That's your Contemporary, Sport, Tamron. Contemporary, Sport. It's up to you which you prefer, which you think is a better quality. For my money, Contemporary is what I'm going to go for. I hope this image review of the lens's performance has been helpful, and thank you.